You're watching Camnet TV Main News. To present the news, my name is Banda Tandi, with the headlines. Education Minister steps in to stop the rivalry between Twin Palm and KABULONGA schools following the death of a pupil. Late Constitutional Court Judge Justice ENOCK MULEMBE put to rest. Zambia's Inspector General directs his commissioners countrywide to deal with UPND supporters planning protests ahead of HH's police appearance. In our international news, flights shut down as EU discusses UK virus threat. And in our sports news, MICHO names 33 bullets for Chan provisional squad fans given. Do join us for the details after this break.
Hello, have you heard about MUSICA? Do you know that you can advertise for as low as 150 kwacha for 30 seconds? Well, MUSICA is here. Advertise on MUSICA between 17 hours and 18 hours. Just tell us about the services that you offer and we'll gladly put you on the market. For more details, you can contact
+260 953 995099 +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467.
MUSICA, allowing your business to grow.
Dr. Bigron, musayibala komutienda okuni gift na land. Uchitenkubeti uibise mojo basayone. Mwina mochi, nakuletera njinga. Latest inaluvesigia na mawaipa.
Difficult ya shidia njinga. Liam 19 pendef kondo. Transport, we got it.
Nanga phone for communication. Ipu sana chizungu. Yeah, you see what I mean?
It's a Camnet, difficult.
It's communication. We got it. Indemoni!
Powerful system ndimba X-Buzz.
Mufumile kukalale. Na mnaimo muli bakumushi. We got it. Yo Bikron, utola inoleta nchemfule mungani. Ngecho wachira pose na nshitachishi. 1, 2, 3, both of you. Kabala ngempang. Don't be stupid. We got it.
Government, through General Education Minister Dennis Wachinga, says the death of an innocent 17-year-old KABULONGA boy's pupil, Ryan Puri, at the hands of his fellow pupils from Twin Palm Secondary School is heartbreaking and poses a strong concern to government to step in. Dr. Wachinga explains that to this effect, government is working on a revised policy framework that will help in raising moral standards of the pupils whilst in school. Speaking after meeting the school heads from KABULONGA and Twin Palm Secondary Schools on Monday morning, Dr. Wachinga says the meeting is aimed at finding lasting solutions to the rivalry that has existed between the two schools over the years. Last week, police arrested 4 pupils from Twin Palm Secondary School in connection with the death of Ryan, while the 5th suspect is on the run. More details in this report.
Tears may dry, but the memories are still fresh among the family members of the late Ryan Puri, a 17-year-old pupil of KABULONGA Boys Secondary School, who was allegedly murdered by his peers after being beaten with golf sticks. This report was confirmed by Police Public Relations Officer Esther Katongo that some pupils from Twin Palm Secondary School had attacked the boy from KABULONGA Boys. This sad development invoked fear and anger in many people, prompting the Vice President and other senior government officials to call for an investigation into the matter. Today, General Education Minister Dennis Wachinga toured the schools at the helm of the crime to ascertain the causes of such brutality among pupils. And speaking after the meetings with the two heads from Twin Palm and KABULONGA Boys Secondary Schools, Dr. Wachinga told the media that facts have been established and that government will soon act on them as the police also investigate the matter.
One, there has been some kind of long-standing rivalry between KABULONGA Boys Secondary School and Twin Palm. And we need to establish exactly the depth of that rivalry and what factors are driving that rivalry. We also want to establish more conclusively the role that a nearby residential compound called Malata is playing in driving these challenges that we are seeing between the two schools. Because preliminary investigations are indicating that this compound is sheltering many illegal activities in the form of alcohol abuse, drug abuse, and even we are told that there are girls from nearby secondary schools who find themselves in there for illicit activities.
Dr. Wachinga says the death of Ryan Piri is purely being taken as an education matter. He says the two institutions need to ensure that they strengthen guidance departments to help the pupils.
We need to intensify counseling in our schools. We have, unfortunately, I get information that some of those retired teachers, or teachers, for instance, who are living in KABULONGA compound but are teaching in other schools, may not be helping the situation because they are not helping towards strengthening the moral code within the school.
On the 4th December 2020, Ryan Piri, age 17, is alleged to have been attacked by a group of people believed to be grade 12 pupils from Twin Palm Secondary School. So far, 4 people have been arrested in connection and investigations are still on. Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Late Constitutional Court Judge Justice ENOCK MULEMBE has been put to rest at Lusaka's Leopards Hill Memorial Park. Earlier this morning, a special valedictory session presided over by Chief Justice Irene Mambilima was held in his honor. In her speech, Justice Mambilima described the late Justice MULEMBE as a devoted member of the judiciary. More details in this report.
The late prominent Constitutional Court Judge Justice ENOCK MULEMBE coming to bid farewell for the last time on earth at a place he once called my office. His body placed at the entrance of both the Constitutional and Supreme Courts, a symbol of how Justice MULEMBE walked in and out of his work environment while serving his country. While his body seemed abandoned, his former workmates, family, and other mourners solemnly gathered in the very courtroom he sat for 4 years dispensing the wheels of justice. The Judiciary Monday organized a special farewell session for Justice MULEMBE and presided over by the Honorable Chief Justice of the Republic of Zambia, Mrs. Irene Mambilima, who described the late Justice MULEMBE as a selfless and devoted judicial worker who put in his best to the cause of justice and the promotion of human rights in Zambia.
The sudden death of the Honorable Mr. Justice MULEMBE has been received by all of us on the bench with a deep sense of shock. The late Honorable Mr. Justice MULEMBE came to the bench only 4 years ago on 11th March 2016, having been appointed a judge of the Constitutional Court of Zambia. For us who worked closely with him, we remember him as an unassuming yet unpretentious, hardworking and meticulous judge who stood for justice and human rights. His knowledge and uncompromising views on human rights, constitutional and international law were reflected in his judgments.
Zambia's Attorney General Likando Kalaluka was represented by Chief State Advocate Johan Tebes Machela, described the late Justice MULEMBE as a patient and yet effective court official who stood for nothing but justice for all.
Death is such a cruel terminator. The overbearing shadow hangs over all of us, and yet we treat this dark and realistic phenomenon as mythology. I think the best way to live is, as taught by all religions, is to be ready to die. It was in these same courts that the late Judge E.K. Mulembe was with us not long ago and presiding over important matters, and we are gathered here again at this special court session for him on his departure to the land of quietness. The legal profession in Zambia is mourning as our profession has lost a jurist of historical stature. The Zambian bar has lost a cherished judge, but we have confidence that the future generations will remember the Honorable late Justice Mulembe, as we in the profession knew him.
After the special farewell session at the Supreme Court, Justice Mulembe's body was driven to the Cathedral of the Holy Cross for a church service and later buried at Lusaka's Leopards Hill Memorial Park. The Honorable Justice ENOCK Mulembe, 52, died at the University Teaching Hospital, UTH, on the 17th of December 2020 after an illness. Until his death, Justice Mulembe was a judge of the Constitutional Court, having been appointed to the position on the 11th of March 2016 by President Edgar Lungu. Prior to this appointment, Justice Mulembe served as Director and Chief Executive Officer at the Zambia Institute of Advanced Legal Education, ZIALE, from 2013 to 2016, among other several positions. Kalan Muchima, reporting for Camnet News.
Zambia's Inspector General of Police, Kakoma Kanganja, has directed all police commissioners across the country to deal firmly with early supporters of Opposition United Party for National Development UPND President Hakainde Hichilema, intending to protest his impending police appearance. Zambians, especially UPND members across the country, have vowed to protect their leader at all costs, saying an arrest will trigger nationwide unrest. But Mr. Kanganja says the police will not condone any acts of lawlessness and disorder in the country. Mr. Kanganja says the planned protests are illegal, hence the police will not hesitate to firmly deal with anyone found on the streets as a result of Mr. Hichilema's arrest or otherwise. The Inspector General's message has been delivered to the public through police spokesperson Esther Katongo. Mr. Hichilema is due to appear before the police on Wednesday, 23rd December 2020 at Police Force Headquarters at 14 hours. Reasons for his summoning still remain unknown.
The Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kakoma Kanganja, has directed all police commissioners across the country to deploy police officers in strategic areas to monitor activities of members of the Opposition United Party for National Development who are reported to be planning to stage unlawful public gatherings at the time their party president, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, will appear at Police Service Headquarters where he has been summoned. The Inspector General has further directed all police officers to decisively deal with all those that would want to cause public disorder during this
Meanwhile, Mr. Hichilema says he has no slightest ideas on why the police are summoning him, but Mr. Hichilema is quick to state that he does not need to commit a crime for him to be summoned, as has been the norm in the past where he has been arrested and detained for not committing any offense. He says the only crime he has committed is to aspire for public office of Zambia, a resource-endowed country which is being mismanaged. Mr. Hichilema says his life, which is in the hands of God, is not any better and precious than the majority of the lives of Zambians who are dying due to economic hardships such as lacking medicines in hospitals and clinics and unaffordable prices of food and other essentials. While children are denied access to better education, farmers are suffering, marketeers have no income because citizens have no money, majority of the young people are roaming the streets without jobs, whilst those controlling public funds show off their wealth on a daily basis from proceeds of plunder. The UPND president assures his supporters that he will not be subdued by any kind of intimidation by those who wield power and will not be deviated from his party's ambitions and visions to liberate the country from any forms of undemocratic tendencies. He ends by quoting from the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 32, verse 7, which says, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid nor dismayed for the king of Assyria, nor all the multitude that is with him. for there be more with us than with him. This is according to a statement posted on his Facebook page and monitored by Camnet TV News. And in other news stories, the Patriots for Economic Progress, PEP, has charged that the Economic and Recovery Plan launched by President Edgar Lungu last week Thursday is incapable of changing the economy nor instilling confidence amongst economic players, as it lacks any substance. PEP President Sean Tembo says the Economic and Recovery Plan is dismally inadequate as it fails to address the key causes of the downturn in the economy, such as excessive borrowing, gross leakages for both tax and non-tax revenues, and a sustainable and unaffordable supply of electricity, resulting in reduced productivity capacity in the economy. Mr. Tembo lamented that it is unfortunate to note how the president used what he terms inept ministers and senior government officials that are the main causes of the country's economic malaise in coming up with such a plan. He adds that the head of state should have involved different stakeholders across the country who are economic think tankers, which when formulating such policies regardless of their political affiliation. He further explains that the people of Zambia must not consider voting for him next year, as he has shown through his shallow and empty economic recovery plan that he is incapable of running the affairs of the country.
As Patriots for Economic Progress, we took time to review the President's economic turnaround plan that he actually delivered to the nation on Thursday last week. And suffice to mention that we had high hopes regarding this economic turnaround plan, because our economy currently is in a downward spiral. We have noted that the government is not able to generate adequate revenues to meet its expenditure obligations and service its various loans. And so we looked forward to the President's turnaround plan. But we were very disappointed to actually note that the President's economic turnaround plan actually lacked any substance, anything that could actually help to turn around our economy. And to that extent, it was actually a very shallow and empty document. Our expectation was that the President would address issues such as the revenue leakages, issues such as being able to manage our debt and ensure that we rectify the default that we have so far suffered. But the economic turnaround plan did not address any of these issues, and therefore is unlikely to be able to actually achieve its intended purpose.
A 30-year-old man of Lusaka's Kabanana compound, identified as John Tembo, has died of electrocution as he attempted to steal oil from a ZESCO transformer. Zambia Police Service spokesperson Esther Mwatakatongo, in a statement, explains that Tembo was found hanging from the ZESCO facilities where he attempted to steal from. She says the incident happened in the early hours of Monday, 21st December 2020. Ms. Katongo explains that members of the public alerted the police over the sad development, who later rushed to the scene.
Police in Lusaka received a report of electrocution from members of the public suspected to have occurred in the early hours of today, 21st December 2020, at about 04 hours in Lusaka's Kabanana compound. When our officers visited the scene, they found one male person on top of a ZESCO transformer, and it is suspected that the same person attempted to drain oil from a transformer. He has been identified as John Tembo, aged 30, of Kabanana compound, and his body has been taken to UTH mortuary.
Sinazongwe Member of Parliament Gift Saluvalo has handed over a 1x2 classroom block, market shelter and a teacher's house in his constituency, all valued at 440,000 kwacha. All the structures have been constructed using the MP's personal resources. More details in this report.
Every member of parliament in this country sought to defend and provide development to his or her electorate. Leaving to what he sought to do, Sinazongwe Member of Parliament Gift Syalubalo, using his personal resources, has built and handed over a 1x2 classroom block at Siamvua Community School, which was struggling with classroom space. The school, which has been under construction for the past 4 years, has gobbled 305,000 kwacha. The lawmaker has also handed over a teacher's house at the Sianzuela Primary School, valued at 105,000 kwacha. At the same time, Mr. Syalubalo has handed over a market shelter he has constructed at a cost of 35,000 kwacha. Here, Headman Simankawa received the market shelter on behalf of the community, particularly women traders who have been trading in open spaces.
Mama ni matata mbuli yangu gale. Structure iliwano yapegwa bulindi swe tubabulongo. Nuso tubabulongo kimina niwe nyonse ni mlawa. Ejitu enda kuyitawa lino tondezi yawamba uti. Image tubwa basumu yajulwa.
Mr. Syalubalo, on the other hand, says the donated structures must be devoid of politics, as they are meant for the public and not for political party cadres. Speaking in his native Tonga, Mr. Syalubalo says markets and other public institutions must not be used for politics, but instead be used to better the lives of the needy people.
So aturwanneto ko ababa dibobiro bajire nchito tambo barama pepabwi eji mitindo ogulomba chakoti incho bedi bwanda mbabu tobumana but mugato miyagulandika imatebo aba mai mugato miyamulandika ba madesi aba na bajigolo imere te kuzijita ejo twelete undiswe umbe tateni tango ibwanda tobumana ikuzwansunu mbuli mtoka jisini atu tatene utegome mujigolo muteni ube madesi mbitinda nda kwamba chakuti jijigolo chigoro cha Syalubalo. Chigoro cha bana Syamvua. Chigoro cha bana Sinazongwe. Chigoro cha Southern Province yonse mboizurwa. Chigoro cha Zambia yonse mboizurwa. Alimu chigoro cha Bamatonga. Chigoro cha Mishobo yonse ili mumukati cha Zambia.
Kalan Muchima reporting for Camnet News.
Meanwhile, former Sinazongwe Member of Parliament Raphael Muyanda says the people of Sinazongwe are disappointed with the unfulfilled developmental promises made to the district by President Edgar Lungu. Mr. Muyanda says is particularly disappointed with President Lungu's promise he made that he would work on the bottom road once elected Zambian president in 2016, but 4 years down the line, the road has maintained a death trap. Mr. Muyunda says the only development recorded on the road was when government mobilized earth-moving equipment on site in what seemed as commencement of the roadworks, but still nothing has been done.
Place is where President Lungu assembled graders, bulldozers about 2 years ago for a program which he called groundbreaking ceremony. It was held over here. You can see the background. The groundbreaking ceremony was intended to construct the bottom road. Where is the bottom road, Mr. President, sir? What has gone wrong with the promise you made to the people of Sinazongwe district? We are shocked that now PF very shortly will be leaving office. What is the value of unpromised and fulfilled promise? Where is the bottom road? The people of Sinazongwe you promised the bottom road are still expecting. And now you're about to go. Where is it, sir?
We do take our second set of commercials and return on more news stories. To stay with us.
Can I have that meal over there? And I really want that crisp, fresh apple taste from the garden. Can I have at the apple?
think I'll have my big bite 2 meal with happy waziwaka. Give us your...
Enjoy an appetizing big bite meal with an happy drink of your choice. A meal is not a meal without an happy drink. And now introducing Happy in a can.
And why do you look so pale and busy scratching yourself?
You know my skin is very sensitive. I've tried all the skin products and nothing seems to work.
Have you tried Oracle Pure Glycerin?
Oracle Pure Glycerin? What's that?
Just give me a minute.
Oracle Pure Glycerin gives your skin a youthful and healthy glow.
Ish, you're glowing. Don't tell me.
Yes!
I already know the secrets. Oracle Pure Glycerin!
Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for that perfect skin.
Stay home, stay safe. Times have changed. With the advent of the coronavirus, Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company would like to advise its esteemed customers to avoid visiting crowded places. You don't have to move to pay your water bill. You can do it in the convenience of your home. You can pay your water bills through Zanaco Zapit, Stanbic Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, and FNB. You can also use Airtel, MTN, and Zamtel Kwacha mobile money transfer services. For any inquiries to report a fault, please contact our customer service on +260 211 251 571, +260 975 618 618, and toll-free line 5957, Zamtel only. You can also simply email customerservice@lwsc.com. This public announcement is brought to you by the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company. Water is life. Sanitation is health.
Hello, have you heard about Msika? Do you know that you can advertise for as low as 150 kwacha for 30 seconds? Well, Msika is here. Advertise on Msika between 17 hours and 18 hours. Just tell us about the services that you offer and we'll gladly put you on the market. For more details, you can contact
+260 953 995099. +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467.
Msika, allowing your business to grow.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. The Ministry of Community Development and Social Services and the United Nations Development Programme have partnered in ending poverty, strengthening resilience to climate change, fostering gender equality, and making human settlement inclusive, livable, and sustainable. Speaking during an MOU signing, Community Development and Social Services Permanent Secretary Pamela Kabamba says the partnership between her ministry and the United Nations Development Programme is timely, as it is expected to contribute greatly to achieving targets that were set in the 7th National Development Plan. And speaking at the same event, United Nations Development Programme Resident Representative Lenel Lorenz says the UNDP's mandate resonates well with the Ministry of Community Development that promotes an integrated approach to development to tackle poverty, inequality, and exclusion, amongst other things. More details in this report.
The signing ceremony between the United Nations Development Programme and the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services marks an important milestone in enhancing effectiveness of joint development efforts. The MOU seeks to keep people out of poverty, promote good governance, peaceful, just, and inclusive societies, crisis prevention, increase the resilience, including environmental aspects by focusing on nature-based solutions to development, clean, affordable energy, and women's empowerment, and gender equality. Ministry of Community Development and Social Services Permanent Secretary Pamela Kabamba believes the partnership is timely, as it is expected to contribute towards achieving targets that were set in the 7th National Development Plan.
Development goals in the country. Community development, by and large, occupies an important role in transforming communities, households, and individuals, especially in rural areas. As such, there is need to put in efforts in building systems and partnerships that foster its growth in the country. With the MOU that will be signed today, community development will receive strategic and technical focus from the Ministry and UNDP in the outlined areas of cooperation. It is therefore hoped that community development will rebound and take a center stage in national planning and development. Ladies and gentlemen, even as government takes a lead in promoting community development, there is need for more stakeholders to come through and build genuine partnerships with government. This is because the field of community development, as will be noted in the MOU, is diverse and therefore requires concerted efforts of many stakeholders. The government, through the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services, remains open to genuine partnership that aims at transforming the lives of the vulnerable and poor people in our great nation through community development and other social protection programs.
Speaking at the same event, United Nations Development Programme resident representative for Zambia, Lionel Lawrence, says the UNDP's mandate is in line with the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services that promotes an integrated approach to development to tackle poverty, inequality, and exclusion, among other issues.
While on the subject, I may add that in addition to being a moral obligation and a human rights issue, the elimination of discrimination and inequalities against women is an investment with strong multiplier effects. Studies suggest that the active and substantial contribution of women and the improvement of their well-being in the economic, social, environmental, and political fields have positive consequences on the whole society and should act as a stimulus for human development and economic growth. So we're also delighted to underscore the fact that the spirit of community voluntarism has been included in this MOU. This speaks volumes on how the government of the Republic of Zambia can be supported to deliver sustainably on the 2030 agenda through the identification and placement of both local and international volunteers to provide knowledge transfer for the sake of sustainable development.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
The Zambia Union of Nurses organization has disclosed that government is yet to pay its members their COVID-19 allowances as promised. The body is, however, disappointed that government is calling for intensified fight against the pandemic when the people in the front line are not being taken care of. Organization Secretary General Frey Michelo tells Camnet News that association members feel demotivated to continue putting their lives at risk when government is not committed to looking into their plight. President Edgar Lungu recently announced that Zambia is on a brink of experiencing a second wave of COVID-19, going by the public's failure in observing health guidelines.
Indeed, it's unfortunate that we are talking of the second wave, and then we have health workers or frontliners who are not given the incentives as pronounced by the president. Up to now, we have not received any feedback whatsoever of what is happening with the pronounced incentives. And now we are talking of the second wave. This is where we usually tell government that at times the frontliners are actually demotivated by some of the actions that are there, because those incentives were pronounced some time back. And we hoped that by now they should have seen those incentives to be given or to be realized. But we've been talking about them, we've been asking, all we are told is that the cabinet is still looking at the matter. But how long will it take And now here we are talking about the second phase. Meaning that even when these people surely will be working, they'll be demotivated still, because they are still asking and still expecting that the incentives be given to them. And then now we are facing another wave of COVID-19. So what do we expect somebody, or how are they going to perform? Are they going to perform well? Of course not.
Meanwhile, Zambia has recorded 2 new COVID-19 facility deaths in the last 24 hours. The Ministry of Health has reported that the 2 deaths were recorded at Chipata and Ndola isolation facilities, bringing the total number of COVID-19 related deaths to 375 since the outbreak. So far, 7 new COVID-19 related deaths have been recorded in the last 5 days. 52 new COVID cases have been recorded out of 6,124 tests conducted. The Health Ministry has continued to warn of the second wave of the pandemic in the country and have asked people to continue adhering to stipulated guidelines. Turiweko Keko cooking oil project owned by the multi-purpose cooperative in Mfumbwe district has continued to inspire and motivate farmers to grow more sunflower apart from groundnuts in the district. The Cooperative Society Limited project business manager Kelvin Solochi says the project is supporting more outgrower farmers with hybrid sunflower seed aimed at increasing the production of cooking oil from sunflower than groundnuts they have been using in the past. Mr. Solochi was speaking in an interview with NAIS when the Director Cooperative and the Ministry of Commerce and Industry Shadrach Mungalava visited the processing factory in Mfumbwe district of Northwestern Province. And Director Cooperative in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry Shadrach Mungalava has described the project as one of the rare enterprising cooking oil venture a cooperative movement of small-scale farmers are running as a serious business in the province. Kweva Chituta of NAIS was in Mfumbwe and filed in this report.
It is the first cooking oil processing factory in Mfumbwe district. The factory is owned by Turiweko Multipurpose Cooperative Society members. They have been producing cooking oil from groundnuts. The cooperative has now taken another step to support outgrower farmers to grow sunflower. Kelvin Solochi is Turiweko Multipurpose Cooperative Society project business manager.
We switched from MGV4 groundnuts to sunflower, which has got a higher content of cooking oil in it. So, starting from last year, we started extracting cooking oil from sunflower. And this year, we have procured 172 bags by 5 kg of sunflower seed from ZAMBIA'S that we are giving out to farmers as an outgrower scheme.
Muno cooperative mwetu tujina lusekero bingi pakuikana na ino cooperative yetu itukwasha ikaji wetu na biseni yetu inakutuajijira kuitukwasha kajikechi tujinayo na nguna kuwera panyuma ni.
In Mfumbwe district we have 277 registered cooperatives. It suffices enough actually to mention that amongst these cooperatives, we have 21 cooperatives that are running solar milling plants, and also we also have about three cooperatives that are processing cooking oil and peanut butter, and then we also have one cooperative called Turiweko, which is processing cooking oil.
Farmers in Kashima East Agricultural Camp have received the training and are ready to grow sunflower.
Mulonga yakayezi makulu kwa tingi sunflower wanyi. Ilangi tunatambulite sunflower, tunasakilide nakasi, nukudia nanenzi, analeti sunflower, nzamba ikiswiliman, nasakilide.
Director Cooperatives in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Shadrach Mungalava, has visited the district to appreciate the cooperative movement activities.
I must say, I'm really impressed that a primary cooperative can be in this kind of value addition. When the president in 2015 was pronouncing the movement of the cooperative development mandate, what he said, and I recall, was that as a nation, we needed to use the cooperative model going forward for inclusive development. This is an example of inclusive development.
Area, the director cooperative, paid the Kete score on Mufumbo District Commissioner, Hagai Kalota, at his office.
This year, Mufumbo has managed to buy maize through FRA, about 129,800 plus, close to, that is 130,000 by 50 kgs.
Mr. Mungaraba, who has concluded his visit, was in the province to check on cooperative movement activities, focusing on market linkages and value chain development. Krivat Tuta, reporting in Mufumbo District, Northwestern Province.
Business conditions in Zambia's private sector neared stabilization in November 2020, sustained by an improvement in demand. According to the latest Stanbic Bank IHS Market Purchasing Managers Index, the November 2020 PMI stood at 49.3 in rebounding from October's 48.9, but staying below the 50 mark, separating expansion from construction. Although the Zambian economy has been unable to score a mark of 50 since February 2019, the past 3 months have shown a reduction in the rate at which it has been contracting since the advent of COVID-19. Stanbic Bank head of Global Markets, Victor Chileshe says. Mr. Chileshe says activity decreased at the slowest pace in the current 21-month sequence of decline, where output fell. Panelists in the PMI surveyed linked this COVID-19, currency weakness, and a lack of money in circulation. And despite the currency having stabilized, the challenge has been that the South African rand has continued to post gains against the US dollar, resulting in increased prices of imports from South Africa. Readings in the PMI above 50.0 signal at an improvement in business conditions on the previous months, whilst reading below 50 show a deterioration. The Zambia National Education Coalition ZANEC has welcomed the decision by government to move forward the school calendar for the 2021 Term 1. In a statement made available to Camnet TV, ZANEC Executive Director George Hamusunga explains that the decision taken by the ministry is a step in the right direction, in that it will give enough time for the parents to prepare. Meanwhile, Mr. Hamusunga explains that there will be no further adjustment to their academic calendar beyond what has already been proposed, adding that extending it further will affect the academic year of the learners who have already been affected by COVID-19. Last week, the Ministry of General Education, through the Permanent Secretary Jobix Kalumba, issued a statement in which it revealed that the opening date for 2021 Term 1 has been adjusted forward from the 4th to the 18th of January 2021.
The Zambia National Education Coalition has consulted its members and other education stakeholders, including parents, regarding the newly announced date for the reopening of schools in 2021. After analyzing the responses from the stakeholders, ZANEC would like to welcome the recent statement by the Ministry of General Education Permanent Secretary, Dr. Jobix Kalumba, in which he indicated that all schools will open for Term 1 on 18th January 2021 instead of 4th January 2021 as earlier announced. The decision taken by the ministry is a step in the right direction, as it will enable parents and guardians to prepare adequately for their children's return to school, both financially and mentally. Furthermore, ZANEC appreciates the importance of ensuring that enough time is given to the marking of examination papers for grades 9 and 12 candidates, given the adjustment that was made to the examination calendar, which now goes up to the end of December. It is, however, our hope that there will be no further adjustment to the academic calendar beyond what has already been proposed, to ensure that we don't lose the valuable gains we have so far achieved in remediating the loss in learning time which we experienced this year due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Mapanza Ward Councillor in Mbala constituency, Leonard Simayumbi, has commended the continued collaboration between the Mbala Constituency Development Fund Committee and the Ward Development Committee, leading to the completion and commissioning of the Ngonga Bridge of the Pemba-Namwala Road. Mr. Simayumbi says the bridge, which had remained a danger to the travelling public, especially school-going children and expecting mothers, has been built at a cost of more than 58,000 kwacha Ward Development Fund. The councillor has since commended the area lawmaker Ephraim Belemu and Choma Municipal Council Mayor Javan Simoloka for spearheading the construction of the bridge. He says the facility, which serves as the shortest link between Pemba and Namwala districts of Southern Province, has never been worked on since the one-party state under the UNIP regime, making it practically impossible for pupils to access schools across the stream, especially in the rainy season.
We are standing now at Ngonga Bridge, Oni, actually the Pemba Road. This bridge that you see here was in a dilapidated state. No one would pass at this bridge, and everyone of you who knows what I'm talking about and who have ever used this road who understand what I'm talking about. Nobody ever thought of actually rehabilitating the bridge. Not until me working with the Ward Development Committee and the CDF Committee, we prioritize that this bridge be rehabilitated. Because this is a conventional road. Just across the stream there is an orphanage. Just beyond the orphanage, there is a primary school. And it is leading to Pemba. And you know what? This is the shortcut to join the Rusaka Road. So this road is very, very, very important. It's cardinal. I think let me not only praise myself, let me praise everybody that we are working with. That we, at least we have put an effort to make sure that this footbridge that we are seeing here is brought to life. And that actually people now can cross at ease. You have just seen a bicycle here. This man doesn't just have power, otherwise he would have actually crossed right. The bridge now has got no potholes. It is working very well. How I wish, actually, not even wishing, next year, I know you are electing me and my colleagues, next year we'll make sure that we bring here actually an improved bridge, and the money has already been sourced.
Two premier exhibitions entities in Zambia have come together to create a strategic and impactful business linkage. This is aimed at supporting each other for the growth of the exhibition industry that has been greatly impacted by COVID-19 pandemic. The Agriculture and Commercial Society of Zambia and the Zambia International Trade Fair have since signed a memorandum of understanding to strengthen existing cooperation in the area of exhibition and advocacy. Society President Mukamba Muya says exhibitions offers a platform for businesses and people to connect, trade, discover and learn, to benchmark and become more innovative and competitive.
A big hand of applause, gentlemen. We offer the platforms for businesses and people to connect, trade, discover and learn, to benchmark and become more innovative and competitive. Most of these customers are established institutions and SMEs. We serve sectorial associations, corporate and institutional clients. Ladies and gentlemen, currently we are working on concepts to implement exhibits under the most sophisticated, intelligent health and safety measures appropriate to the respective situations.
Therefore, this memorandum of understanding is a combination of many years of international standard exhibition experience, which creates a powerful synergy that will go a long way in promoting trade, investment and commerce locally and internationally. It is expected that this partnership will also contribute positively to the growth and development of the exhibition industry in Zambia.
And in other news, 5 Miss Plus Size Zambia 2020 winners have sued organizers of the pageant in the Lusaka Magistrate Court, seeking an order for payment of money and prizes which were due to them after winning the competition. They are further seeking exemplary damages for emotions turmoil suffered at the result of the pageant organizers' failure to give them their prizes. The plaintiffs are Miss Plus Size Zambia 2020 winner Beatrice Molauzi, Faith Sholoma and Maria Piri. Others are Lukosha Sakala, Miss Personality, and Ida Piri, Miss Popularity. The defendants are Alan Lupenda, Perfect Kalisa, and Precious Kanchepa. Ms. Mulauzi is demanding an order compelling of the defendants to pay her 10,000 kwacha cash prize money for Miss Plus Size Zambia Award and further a brand new iPhone 8 Plus worth 15,500 kwacha. Ms. Sholomo is seeking an order directing the defendants to give her a brand new iPhone 7 Plus worth 14,500, while Ms. Maria wants the court to order defendants to give her a brand new Huawei P20 worth 9,500 kwacha. They are also seeking payment of prices and damages for breach of contracts. In a statement of claim filed in the Lusaka Magistrate Court, the plaintiff states that the defendants are organizers of Miss Plus Size Zambia 2020 beauty competition under the name of Zebra Events Design. Still to come is our international and sports news. Do stay with us.
To create a positive difference in people's lives, one must first understand the way people live. At Savenda, we're here for our community, our partners, and our future, as a nation and as a continent.
Back in 1997, we decided we were going to create this family journey into a bigger opportunity, and created a business called Savenda, which meant Save Nations to Develop Africa.
It's always important to give back to the people. The government cannot do everything, but as business entities, we'll be able to reach a lot of people.
From our humble beginnings in the telecoms and mining sectors to our work in energy and development projects, we know how important it is to be true to our roots.
Our services have to be diversified so that we don't depend on one income stream. Back in the village, I was growing up hunting and doing everything that a village boy would like to do. When you're hunting, you don't depend on one trap, for example. You have to have many traps. So those survival skills brought into the business created opportunities that we learned from a young age that you can't survive with just one product. Savenda Group involves Savenda Management, which is a consulting, Savenda Express, which is a corporate branding company, Savenda Electric, which is a manufacturer of energy-saving bulbs, Savenda General Insurance, which is a general insurance company, Savenda Fresh Produce, Cyber Africa, which is a center for just dealing with cyber security.
Now, Savenda is combining local knowledge with international expertise. It's time to be a part of Zambia's rising success and Africa's exciting future.
We are a gateway into Africa, and now we are praying with global companies who are coming to Zambia for opportunities and to look for companies that are homegrown, and we are proud to be one of those.
Important good nutrition is to grow up big and strong.
Not only is cowbell milk enriched with 28 vitamins and minerals, it's also boosted by the 5 most important vitamins, which we call Vita-Rich.
It's got vitamin A for good eyesight development. It's got vitamin C to help fight infections. It's got vitamin D and calcium to help build strong bones and teeth. It's got vitamin E to help with body protection. And it's got vitamin K for general well-being and immunity.
For good health and vitality, only cowbell with Vita-Rich puts you on the fast track.
Hello, have you heard about MUSICA? Do you know that you can advertise for as low as 150 kwacha for 30 seconds? Well, MUSICA is here. Advertise on MUSICA between 17 hours and 18 hours. Just tell us about the services that you offer and we'll gladly put you on the market. For more details, you can contact
+260 953 995099 +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467.
MUSICA, allowing your business to grow.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. In our international news stories, EU officials are discussing a joint response to a new, more infectious COVID-19 variant in the UK, which has sparked travel bans by many countries. Canada and India joined European states in blocking flights from the UK, whilst Europe-bound train services via the Channel Tunnel have been halted. The new variant is said to be up to 70% more transmissible, but there is no evidence that it is more deadly. There is also no proof to suggest that it reacts differently to vaccines. French Transport Minister Jean-Baptiste said the protocol would be agreed within hours at the European Council meeting of government representatives to ensure that movement from the UK can resume. There is an appetite in Brussels for a more coordinated response, partly because the EU felt that at the beginning of the pandemic earlier this year, the member states had adopted an every country for itself approach, which threatens the very idea of European cooperation, BBC Europe correspondent Kelvin Connolly writes. UK Health Secretary Matt Hancock told BBC News earlier that the new variant was out of control, whilst Denmark, Italy and the Netherlands announced that they had already detected it.
Lorries isolated, passengers grounded, many in the UK now stuck, as European nations try to protect themselves from this fast-spreading COVID-19 variant. The Netherlands was the first to ban all passenger flights from the UK until the 1st of January, and now ferry passengers too. Belgium has suspended flights and train arrivals from the UK for 24 hours. Ireland's announced a 48-hour ban on flights arriving from the UK. France has suspended all travel links, that's air, sea, rail or road, for 48 hours, including freight. Germany has banned planes landing from the UK, as has Switzerland, the Czech Republic and Bulgaria until the 31st of January. In a breathless and ever-growing list, Turkey has too, as well as banning flights from Denmark, the Netherlands and South Africa.
For the travel industry, this is devastating. The UK government has got to build confidence, not just with these countries, our neighbours, but also with the travelling public and indeed the travel industry.
In Madrid, where they're strengthening tests at this airport for UK arrivals, there's concern.
I was really scared because I thought they might cancel my flight this week, so bought the last seat on this flight to Manchester.
Some relatives warned us that flights from London and all the south were being cancelled, and we were worried that it might affect our trip.
It's just a shame that it's happened over Christmas, you know. It's such a shame that we can't go and see family, especially over Christmas time.
Further afield, Kuwait has banned flights arriving from the United Kingdom, as has Canada. Since the new virus variant was detected here in the UK in September, it has also been detected in the Netherlands, Denmark, Italy and Australia. This all comes at a bad time, not just for Britain, days away from the end of its transition period with the EU, but for the wider world, days after getting on the front foot with a vaccine rollout. Now days later, battling to contain this sting in the tail. Mark Lobel, BBC News.
We take a look at what we have in our sports news. In our sports news stories, Chipolopolo coach Milutin MICHO Sredojevic has summoned 33 players for camp ahead of the African National Championship, excluding players from Ghana, NAPSA Stars, Green Eagles, who have continental engagements. MICHO has also left out Power Dynamo's players, whose club is expected to fulfill a few outstanding fixtures. The technical bench has also robbed in the number of players from junior team, including under-17 wonder kid Joseph Sabobo Banda, Golden Mafuenta and Martin Njovu. MICHO has also invited Italy-based Abel Kanyamuna, who is also on the books of the under-19 squad. The team had its first session in Lusaka today, Monday, and will break for Christmas before regrouping on Saturday. On Monday, the team will play an All-Stars versus Rest match at Nkoloma Stadium. Fans will vote by sending their best X-side to 333 on MTN with the surname and initial for the full name of their preferred players. Zambia is in Group D alongside Guinea, Namibia and Tanzania. The CHAN runs from January 16th to February 10th, 2021 in Cameroon.
First of all, we need to say that I, as a coach, feel an extreme appreciation to Coach Agri Chiangi that has qualified the team to the CHAN that was supposed to play last April, but is moved to January to February 2021. I need to emphasize the fact that we are having competition around the corner, and we have prepared a comprehensive program of activities and program that will make us being ready for the group matches on 19th against Tanzania, 23rd against Guinea and 27th against Namibia. And we have identified 34 players. We have not called players of NAPSA that are having intercontinental competition. We have not called players of Green Eagles that are having continental competition, Ghana also, so representatives in the CAF. And also we have not called Power Dynamo's players that are having a set of matches, 23, 27, 30th. So we have put them aside, but others we are checking and we are looking to choose best of the best. We are having so many things at stake. First is that all of us, same like our supporters, have been disappointed with the result against the, not performance necessarily, but result against Botswana. And we want to redeem ourselves with a good performance in CHAN that we are using as a bridge towards matches against Algeria and Zimbabwe that are do-or-die clashes for us to qualify to the African Cup of Nations. Football in Zambia is like second religion, and having that in mind, talent and quality of the players is something that we rely on. Also, we are looking and we feel the way I have told today to our players. Some players are performing in the clubs, but when they are coming to the national team, that jersey is too heavy. It has 18 million dreams inside that jersey. An unbelievable history since independence, 64, 3 times being in the finals, winning the Africa Cup of Nations and whatsoever. And we simply feel responsible that Chipolopolo spiritual owners are our supporters, and making our supporters happy is our ultimate target, is something that we shall not allow stone unturned, and that we shall stretch over all human and sport limits in order to make supporters happy with Chipolopolo. We have come to the end of the news. Before we go, a recap of our headlines.
Education Minister steps in to stop the rivalry between Twin Palm and KABULONGA Secondary School following the death of a pupil. Late Constitutional Court Judge Justice ENOCK MULEMBE put to rest. Zambia's Inspector General directs his commissioners countrywide to deal with the UPND supporters planning protests ahead of HH's police appearance. In our international news, flights shut down as EU discusses UK virus threat. And in sports, MICHO names 33 bullets for CHAN provisional squad funds given. The Camnet verse of the day is coming from the book of Matthew chapter 1 verse 21, and it reads, "She will give birth to a son, and you are to name him Jesus, because he will save his people from their sins." Thank you so much for joining me on Camnet TV, not just another channel.